Lollipops.
What kind of lollipops?
Sucker Punch lollipops.
Ba-doom, boom, boom. We'll give
Banana
basics
phone.
2 more minutes and then we'll go basics.
Have you, since we're not playing D&D yet, I'm gonna keep talking about D&D for the next few minutes. Have you guys played a lot of Hyper?
No.
One comment. Since if we don't play without basics, does that mean we're playing advanced D&D?
Ah.
No, unfortunately, you still have me.
Self-burn. I appreciate it.
What's hyper roll?
Hyper roll is like a super fast version of TFT. It's like a game mode. It's TFT, but it's like a hyper short version of it where you only have 20 HP instead of 100, and it's a set amount of HP with each round instead of like based on champions. I think it's interesting just to like dish out comps fast and see like what works and what doesn't.
And there's no rating for this, right?
There is a rating, but it's like a
joke rating.
Rating, yeah. Like I've played like 3 games and I'm in the gray rating now.
Probably worth checking out. I'm kind of like, I don't want to say if there's no rankings, I'm not interested, but I like comparing myself and my like skill progress to other people. So
Right on.
it's a funsies mode, but I'm sure there's a lot to be learned there, but I feel like I have so much to learn in just the regular rank mode already anyway. But feel
I think I also like
what I
it.
learned last season applies now.
Yeah, true. I think I also like it because it takes 20 minutes to play a whole game.
That part does this, yeah.
So it's like if I just want to like
Instead of, like,
test out a
35.
comp, I can just play at hyper roll game real quick and like okay, I'm out in 20 minutes and I didn't waste an hour.
Do you not think though that because of its you're losing 2 comps per turn and you start at 20, like you'll see different comps like rise to the the establishment of that? Like I don't think that they'll translate. Like if I have a great hyper roll team, will it still be a great really ranked team, or I'm guessing not.
So the way it works, I think, is they took out buying XP, and after every round you just level up. So you still get to see in-game content.
Oh, well, maybe then. Because it was only like at best case scenario was 10 rounds. Like
Yeah.
you're not going to see a lot of like 3-star Dravens.
Right. I feel like they tweaked a lot of it to like make it so you can make it in-game real easily and fast, and everyone makes it at the same time, and so you can experience all the good stuff. Like I think I did a comp the other day. It was it Nightbringer? No, it was Forgotten. Sorry, I did 9 Forgotten in that game mode. That was the first time I had a chance to do that. He'll show up, I have a feeling. He just fell asleep.
Alright, same drill as we do at the beginning of every session. Who remembers what happened well enough to do our recap?
Basics.
It's basics.
Speak
You're
of
right.
the devil.
And he may appear.
He hasn't appeared.
I think I remember.
I remember.
Basics.
Echo.
Echo.
Please.
Okay. Please stop.
I don't think he's doing it on purpose.
No, it's just the audio is feeding through basics output. So
That's what I was saying. I don't
Yeah.
think he's doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
You know.
Can I hear myself now?
No.
Okay.
Can you hear yourself in your mind without basics?
Perfect.
All the time
I'm
and
so
maddening.
Close your eyes. Force out the basics.
We had, I think I remember, we had an epic chase with Undine on an aboleth through a giant storm, and
Failed
we
the storm
managed to lose her by me really fucking with the aboleth and Undine. And then we made it to out of the storm into, I think, the eye of the storm, and then there was this bone slime and ghosts that attacked our ship that we dealt with. And I
Somebody
think,
punched a ghost.
yeah, somebody punched a ghost. I threw my Pokemon at the ghost bone slime thingy, and I believe the captain was killed and potentially turned into a revenant, like Opie. Did I miss anything?
Well, the front fell off.
The front of what?
The front of the boat.
ship.
Wait, what?
No,
yeah.
the boat capsized. I was just referencing that old Australian news interview.
I think we ran aground on an island. Right?
Yep.
Oh yes, we did.
Shipwrecked after unfortunately failing the skill challenge.
And we all leveled up.
Based on the
Fail.
screenshot I saw, it looks like we may have crashed in Thailand.
Yeah, I think that is where that is.
That or Vietnam. Either way, it's
On that note, did we have everyone for last session?
Yeah, I think so.
I believe we did.
Okay, there's no one that didn't level up, I guess. It's just, I guess I'm just checking that real quick.
I think we had everybody.
Well, anybody who wasn't here.
So look at your character sheets if you're not level 6. Then everything's going to do I guess before we jump into it, did anybody have any other questions about the level? I think we did a fair job of answering questions at the end of last session, but before we get started, does anybody have a...
I'm all good on my end.
Good.
Alright then. Ready. Alright, so you guys basically exerted what was left of your energy after a very taxing ordeal to swim to the unknown shores, the wet sandy beach of this island that you've just run aground on. Everybody collapsed, unconscious, exhausted. Your eyes open. The sky is bright, full of rising dawn light. There's no evidence of the storm anymore, although your clothes are still soaked. You're laying in wet, mushy sand. You can hear the cawing of gulls in the distance. As you ache, arching, struggling to your feet, you look around and see far too few friends from the ship. What do
Definitely
you
not
do?
the cook.
Yes,
Definitely
you
not the cook.
murdered him.
I have,
Just
a,
failed to grab him.
I have a morbid question. Are there any dead bodies that have washed ashore?
Many.
I'll wait till nightfall to deal with this.
We should bury them. Not all of them.
No, we should bury them in really loosely packed soil and/or sand for reasons.
If they had nice arms and armor, you can leave that on them.
I think we should just like. Can you res our ship? Can you just like necromancy that thing back to life?
I'm not so great at things that have never really been alive to begin with.
Wood was technically alive at one point in time as trees.
So I've got a question. So if you
Talking desk.
if you give yourself tongues and you also give yourself death speak, does that mean you can talk to wood?
Talk to
No,
furniture.
What you're asking is speak with plants and speak with dead. Then you can talk to furniture.
You could also talk to the ship. It would just be a cacophonous like noise depending on how many trees were in that ship.
I think I would need to roll to not go insane from that.
Yeah. Just I start twitching. What's wrong? It says ow.
Though now I want an undead treant.
Anyways, I was just thinking maybe we could start the Flying Dutchman story arc right now, where he just he revives the whole crew, and then we set sail and go ship and all that stuff. That'd be pretty cool. Anyways,
Fuck Try's story. We're gonna go do that.
Serious. Going rogue.
anyways, I guess I'm just gonna make sure all of us are okay.
Then why don't you make a perception roll to sort of, as I don't know, group dad count
Sure.
heads?
Group dad is the correct thing. I'm real bad. I'm actually really good at being a dad, which is not saying anything and
I'm picking up on that. Yeah.
showing up once in a while.
Head still reeling from the accident. You touch the temporal side of your head, and there's just dried, caked blood running down the side of your face. You don't even remember what hit you, but that explains why you're still a little bit out of it. You see other members of your party, friends from Pendilor, still struggling to get on their feet. Kig seems almost serene while he's just laying spread eagle on the sand, like he's sunbathing. But again, so few people compared to those that you were traveling with. You're just unsure. As you walk the beach, you're only counting a handful of sailors that you were recently traveling with.
Is Opie okay?
I mean, how do you measure his being okay?
Is Opie in the same state that he was in before we crashed the ship?
That is true and fair.
Is the captain, who seems to be in a similar state, with us as well?
He is unconscious. Like, there's no outward signs of life, but the corpse is not cold. Like, there's no rising and falling of breath, no discernible heartbeat. And if Zaz were to inspect him again as he did previously, he's in that like intermittent state where spare the dying isn't stopping anything, but nor is he getting that he's dead Jim response.
Great.
Can I?
Yeah, Zaz is not doing that. That stuff is unholy.
Can
My-
I?
Oh.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna see if I could investigate the captain to see if I can poke or prod and see if I can tell anything that's wrong with him.
I think when you and Zaz put your heads together, we eliminated we exhausted your knowledge of the
Okay.
magical side, but I'd be willing to let somebody make a medicine check to see if there's anybody who has. Is there anyone on board who's a learned doctor?
Hey,
I
I'll
need a
make
doctor.
medicine check. Nope, I cannot make a medicine check today.
He should be dead, but he's not.
Great.
Okay, get him out, boys.
What the heck?
We're having a bad day again.
Yes.
Medicine.
So I try
Yes.
one more time. Let's try my medicine check.
You guys put your
I'm gonna
heads
try-
together
I'm gonna try poking him with a stick.
as a coven. Nice.
You're better at medicine than you are at
Hey,
seeing things.
that's a pretty good medicine check. Hey, Leo.
I just poking him
Medicine
with a
checks are
stick.
pretty good.
Everybody puts their heads together to look at the captain's condition. Completely non-responsive. Leo rather abruptly just pokes him with a stick he's been whittling, and blood runs out of his arm. And it's not congealed, which he smiles and says that's a good sign. Whether that is or not, who could possibly know?
Not this party.
But Leo's, says that he's read about or heard about miners that get, trapped in these catatonic states after being exposed to noxious fumes. They stay, torporous and dormant until they're either rescued or die. But it looks like this. Little sleeping beauties.
What the good is taking a feat as healer if I can't do shit?
Stand back, I'm a healer. I've never seen this before.
So who's gonna kiss him?
True love's first kiss.
I would like to see if there's like anyone that hasn't quite made it onto the beach yet that might still be savable.
Sure. Give me a perception check
Where is that damn perception?
as you scan the horizon.
Oh God, does lucky count for that?
Leo tells you, "Don't bother. I already looked."
Yep.
and you agree.
On ability checks, I can try again. If it's a critical fail on ability checks, I could try again. Fucking hell!
A little
Sweet.
better.
Yeah. No, it's much better. You rolled 5 times better.
Fuck me.
Oh, you guys. Yes. Read out past the rocky outcroppings. There's like you can see kind of a debris trail still bobbing in the water. There are overturned water casks and like a bit of sail that's still attached to something that has sunk, but you can see like this kind of debris trail of where the ship has run aground into the the reefy outcropping of this little island chain that we're on. And bobbing up and down on one of those barrels is a person, and you can't tell whether he's like it's just creating that sort of illusion of life because of the jostling of the waves, but you thought he raised his arm ever so slightly.
I swim out, make my way out to salvage the person or the body, whichever I have to do.
You get out there, and it's one of the crewmen from the deck. You remember him. He was one of the ones that helped put out the fire with the mage Athenia, and he's clinging to life.
Drag him into shore.
Make an athletics check to swim with a person in tow.
Can I do acrobatics? No, it has to be athletics, right?
Mhm.
Well, hey!
Great, yeah. These rolls should have been like I feel like inverted, maybe.
Finally, something you're good at.
Halflings that are great at perception and poor at athletics, but you're like, I don't see shit, but I'm a marathon swimmer.
How can I see with all this water in my face? I know where I'm going.
Reed, you effortlessly, swim out the 200 or 300 feet, and then against the riptide, manage to drag this guy, this drowning victim, all the way back to the beach. He's hacking up water. He's sunburnt, obviously exhausted. He's got a large open gash in his chest. Yeah, he might make it with some help.
Can I use my healing kit to help him?
Absolutely.
Oh,
You
great.
mash together some of the herbs into a poultice and apply it over the wound. He stings as you apply it. But you assure him the entire way that he's going to make it. He's probably one of the lucky ones? ? But you look around, and again, you're missing about half of your crew. It might be time to take an actual head count or inventory, at least of what your resources are.
I suggest that we survey the debris that's still floating, and if anyone else wants to try to bring some of that in.
I would like to do that.
Leah's gonna start swimming out there and trying to grab like barrels and kegs and stuff like that and try to bring them to this shore.
Okay.
Alexis is just very glad reading a book on the shore, doing whatever she's doing.
Jezza is just kind of laying on the sand, just like, why am I here? Why did I agree to this?
I'm probably sitting right next to Jezza.
Reminding her of the weird series of misadventures that brought her to this moment.
Yes. Yeah, like the entire scene is going like this. So like I'm just reading a book, and then Jezza's just kind of laying there, and I'm like, hey, but I'm just kind of passively like, and remember that time when we did this, and then
And every time you start talking, I'm like, nope, just stop. I'm
Yep.
just in like,
And-
stop, shut up.
and I'm just, and then remember that, you remember that time in the arena, and then when I pulled the lever, and
Because 34 days, 12 hours, and 6 minutes ago, you wanted sausage for breakfast instead of eggs.
Remember when you got caught trying to steal from that shopkeep?
I did.
I regret nothing. All right. Those of you who swim out, the segmented rib cage of the overturned hull is still mostly intact. It's capsized and listed over onto its side, so you've got like half a boat in the water, half not. There are some significant ruptures to the hull, and it's thankfully sunk as deep as it's going to sink. It's resting on a sandbar now, so it's only in about 10-12 feet of water. You are able to recover a lot of the, well, they were dried food provisions, but now they're a little soggy. A couple of casks of ale, several barrels of drinking water, and a couple of supplies, old riggings that were used as reserves in case anything happened to them. Most of a sail, pieces, which are going to be important if you aim to try to repair the ship.
I believe it's called rehydrated food.
It is rehydrated food, aptly said. Does anyone want to try to explore the innard of the ship, looking
Leo would
for
like to.
Zaz's lost
Oh
candy?
yeah, I'm gonna do that.
I'll need an athletics check for anybody who wants to go in. It requires you to maneuver through a collapsed doorway and then dive underwater into the submerged portion of the ship. The only way to get to the holdfast. Nice. Okay. Oh, good. Yeah, the two of you so far. Waiting for Kig's roll. Excellent.
Nice
The three of
roll.
you maneuver through the debris pretty effortlessly. Once you get into the hold, there's some unfortunate news. There are 3 bloated corpses just floating against the, uprighted wall of the ship. 2 of them are kind of faceless crew members. You have that moment of like, oh my god, I didn't even know his name. I probably should have known his name. And the blow that hits you the hardest is the wizard Athenia is the 3rd body.
Oof.
Fucking hell.
Can I loot her body?
I suppose you can.
Get her book of spells.
Okay.
But I
loot
didn't
her
say that because
body.
we're underwater. Exactly.
I will take the book of spells, definitely.
Kig, from you. Actually, I don't need to roll. That's silly. It's a dead body. There is a terribly soggy tome that I need you to make a dexterity check as you try to pry it from her hands. She had it like clutched under her arm, not on like a football. But as you try to tear it away, that's a saving throw, but we'll keep the 20. As you start to like peel it away from her hands, the book is starting to just literally rip like wet paper is wont to do. But you have deft, nimble fingers and you're able to pry her rigor mortis hand open and take the book out without losing too much. Some of the pages slough off. One of like the back cover is entirely gone, but you have the bulk of the spell book in your possession.
Excellent. I slip it in my bag.
There's also her bejeweled wand. It's like a polished amethyst orb, a sphere, along a long maple rod. This was her arcane spellcasting focus. It has probably not a lot of value or interest to you, but there are some people who would pay money for it.
Yeah, definitely. I'll take it.
And lastly, floating amongst the corpses, there was a parchment, a rolled up piece of arcane vellum that is now just kind of bobbing loosely on the surface of the ship, the side wall that is the roof now. The fact that it has survived not being water saturated hints at its magical properties.
I'll take.
I also snatched that.
From sure. I want that. I like scrolls.
Basics. I'm gonna steal at least 2 of those things from you. I hope you realize that.
These are all things Zaz really likes, so I think they all go to Zaz.
Kig, is your intention to obfuscate you borrowing the stuff from the corpses? I never know how to play a group rogue. You are skilled enough that if you wanted to try to hide this from others, you probably could. Otherwise, I'm going to assume that your actions are being done in the open and overtly. But if you ever want to, just let me know and you just make your stealth roll. Okay.
Sounds good.
Basics, I'm the only one that can actually use the spell book, so it does have to go to me.
We'll see
Theoretically, it
when we
doesn't
get a
have
bad
to.
shore.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't have to. But
It
I'm the
should.
only.
You're right, but it doesn't have to.
You would want to be a dick about it.
I mean, he might want to. He is a rogue.
Kig
That's
wants
fair.
to be a dick about it.
They don't call me Kig the Dick for nothing.
Wait, are we summoning Xanos?
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
3 times in a row. Beetlejuice.
I'm trying to figure out if anyone will get mad if I turn at least 2 of these into skeletons right now.
Do the nameless
Yes.
ones where no one can.
I mean, people around you, probably not.
I mean, people
who
outside
are not
the boat.
around you, absolutely. Are we still underwater, by the way? Or are we in
Who's
like a
gonna
pocket
know?
of air?
There is a very small pocket of air. You're able to, if you want to stay down here, you can rebreathe a few times.
Okay.
Where there's a air is trapped in the small cattywampus corner of the ship.
Are there
Feisty.
any like chests or kegs or anything like that down here? That we can see?
Like normal instrumentation, like what is it called, an astrolabe, maps and charts, journals, cookware, plates, cups, washed away medical supplies. You find a case that has just a dozen shattered glass ampules in it. God knows what was in them. Very little of usefulness, as you are like gulping for air in between excursion sessions down here. Looking out through the starboard side porthole window, though, you do notice that the port side ballista has been sheared off the ship, but looks like it's fully intact.
I definitely want to start trying to make that get to the shore, like start pushing it and maybe maneuvering it towards the shore.
Okay. You are probably the only one strong enough to do that, so I won't require a strength check, but like I imagine it more like you just kind of walking along the bottom of the ocean, dragging the ballista with you.
Yeah, it would definitely take my time because I would, as I'm losing my breath, I would probably go for air and come back down, stuff like that.
Nice. Yeah, eventually you're able to drag the massive ballista, up on shore and sort of park it like a canoe.
Nice.
Does anybody else who went into the wreckage want to look for anything else specifically?
I am going to raise the 2 nameless crew members as skeletons, and if anybody's asks, I'm going to say that they were skeletons that were already there from the battle with the bone slime.
Okay. What, these guys? Right. Till you find out that like Zaz actually remembered one of them. That's Edward.
No.
We all of us played cards with him.
I've never
No,
played
this-
cards in my life.
Try, I love you.
Cards don't exist.
That means I need to rewrite my fanfic.
All right. To those on the shore, the first thing you see is like a just muscle-bound, struggling Leo Stronghammer dragging a massive ballista up out of the depths of the ocean, parking it on the shore. He like half flexes, half waves at the ladies that are sunbathing before just walking back into the submerged depths. You see next Kig swimming. He does like that really cool, like very envious swimming style with his hands are just profiled flush against his body and he's using his tail for propulsion. He looks very much like a creature in his natural habitat, just serpentining through the water until he comes up on shore, stretches again for the sunbathing ladies. But shortly behind them is Kel, who's trying. They're arguing over something or discussing something, and then to the shock of everybody on the beach, in tow directly behind Kale are 2 skeletons that even as they step out of the water, what flesh remains in their bones just kind of sloughs off with each step that they take.
Gross.
Zaz panics. We just fought undead. Zaz panics and gets his weapons out.
Dead rise.
Reed also strikes some sort of monkish pose and his hands start to glow.
I just kind of look over my book and I'm just like, well, that's weird, and look back down.
It's okay, they're with me. I made
Reed
use
takes
of the
a-
bone slime.
Reed takes a deep breath and calms and relaxes, and the glow fades.
I'll ring out.
Boy, Zaz doesn't.
I say, does that make your character feel any better?
No.
Zombies! Oh, it's okay, I made them. I think that's worse.
Reed trusts his party.
Zaz is going to give one of them a tap with his hammer, just like a reflex check.
Yeah, stone dead for sure. The classic stink of abominable undeath all over them.
Zaz will look right at you. Just say, "Listen,
Stop it. Get help.
you. Where did these come from?
The bone slime.
Oh, and we didn't know these two.
No. I would never raise someone that we knew.
You. This. I need to go somewhere. Kate, did you find my candy?
I didn't find any candy, but I found this cool stuff you might like.
Yeah.
I take out the tome and the scroll and the wand and I show Zaz.
Zaz, if you want to, like, see what you know about them, you can make an Arcana check.
I would first like to cast Destroy Water to dry out the book.
That is an excellent use of that spell.
Wow.
Nice.
Yep, you hold it open, like you position Kig's hand so he becomes like a human lectern. Muttering a few short incantations, you create a storm cloud just above his like face area. There's a small little crackle of lightning in a Kig that makes you flinch, and then it reverse rains. Liquid moisture is being drawn out of the pages and rise up into the cloud until the parchment is dry and brittle to your hands. Zaz moves the rain cloud away and, manipulating his hands, wrings it out like a washcloth as it disappears. You got here Wizard Spellbook.
Well, Zaz is going to start leafing through it and try and figure out what happened here too.
As you flip through it, all of the pages are illegible arcane runes. No words in common or any other language that you speak. It seems entirely unintelligible nonsense.
I'm gonna have a lot more luck with that one than you are, Zaz.
Oh wait, you want to raise this too?
Yeah. Undead books.
Zaz just gonna like drop it in the sand in front of you. I have death rights to attend to.
Nice. Great mic
And
drop.
they're Telosian. Don't get near me.
Cool. Is that like incineration via lightning?
It's like Viking funerals.
Yeah.
We like float the bodies out for a little bit and then they get struck by lightning.
Excellent.
Nice.
Gosh.
Did you want to look at the scroll, either of you? I think it's fair to say that Kel both recognizes and could easily identify the spellbook as being Athenia's wizard spellbook. Kel, as you look at it, though, you see the same thing. It is a series of unintelligible glyphs to you. Each page is just nonsense symbols. She must have used some kind of cipher. It won't take you long to decipher it, to craft a spell that allows you to read her spellbook, but for right now, it's just hundreds of pages of nonsense.
Okay, I will definitely want to do that, but I'm fine having that hold off
Okay.
for now.
I still have this wand and this scroll. Can I look inside the scroll?
Sure.
Sure.
It's bound by a small little glob of like wax, kind of like a seal. You can easily, with your clawed finger, just slide under there, pop the seal. It unfurls. It isn't long. but the ink that was written on this parchment has an almost opalescent quality. It seems to catch all of the rays of sun from the ambient light around you and kind of reflects it, giving it this kind of rainbow glittery appearance. And you don't understand a word of it. It's nonsense scratchings and scrawlings.
Oh, perfect. I throw it behind my shoulder.
Ooh, pretty garbage.
I'm gonna pick that up and also look at it.
Knowledge Arcana. Wow, guys, that's not an 8. You see that?
Oh,
Finally.
Plus 12. That seems pretty good.
Did that work?
Oh, yes, it
Flight.
did.
Ooh.
I'm gonna stick that in my bag.
And the rod is just Athenia's spellcasting focus. I believe you have one of your own. But since I'm sure Kig will ask, its material composition is valuable. If you were to sell this at any store in Pendilor, you could get between 50 and 100 gold, depending on how well you bartered for it. So it's, while it may not be materially useful to you, it's certainly valuable.
Excellent.
Barter.
There's no one in here that can use a wand, right? Like,
Nah. I think we all have our own focus already, so we can just hold on to it as treasure for later.
oh, okay. Sounds good.
You could try using it like a poking stick, I suppose.
I could
Well,
whittle it into
like a morning star.
little stabby pokey.
Then you can be Kig the Wand.
You're not wrong.
All right. While everybody was doing that, the remaining survivors take an inventory. They figure you guys, we've lost about half of the total onboard supplies of the ship, and accounting for all of you, there are 16 survivors.
Who's the highest in command of the crew?
The ranking
the-
officer.
The only
Yeah.
one with ranking left is Theo. If you remember, he was the cleric, the bosun that helped you guys out during the last 2 ship battles.
We're in charge now.
He was, 6th or 7th in line of succession.
Okay.
Does Theo have any idea what's going on with the captain, or is it the same as
Yeah,
us?
he also came to the conclusion that it's not life and it's not death, and that in and of itself is pretty scary.
We'll need some way to easily carry him along with us then,
There's an
like some kind of
Yeah, I was
cart.
gonna say there's enough like wooden debris parts of the ship, or if you don't want to do that, you could see what you could source from the surrounding area to build like a makeshift palanquin kind of thing.
Probably from the ship makes the most
Make
sense.
like a sled of some sort.
Yeah.
Anybody can make a survival roll to attempt to craft that. It seems like sourcing the wood wouldn't be the problem so much as the skill
Leo.
to craft it.
Leo will try it.
gosh, Zaz is bad at everything.
I'll do it.
Yeah, Reed apparently is the most well versed. Leo, you're good at just building anything, it seems.
Sometimes.
But you and Reed work together. He teaches you the finer points of how you want to distribute the load, and how if you have it on multiple points, it's easier to drag. And you guys build a pretty good device for lugging the brain dead captain around. The surviving members of the crew are starting to sort of gather around him, and there's that. You can see it on their faces. There's that looming question of like, what do we do now? I mean, every one of them signed up to follow this man to hell and back. They are quite literally rudderless.
Is there like a high point anywhere nearby that we can survey from?
Absolutely. The sandy beach that you're on is only sand for about 30, and then begins this like large rocky cliff face, almost 80 feet straight up. There's enough like abutments for it to be easily scalable.
You said but. I would like to try and climb it to look
Okay.
around.
Give me athletics.
Oh no.
Okay. That is the minimum for success. Um, you were uncertain about halfway up, but you hit that halfway point where it's like, it's going to be harder to go down at this point than it is to just finish the climb. And you suck it up and made it all the way to the top. There's this massively wide, sort of unexpected green pasture, rolling long bladed grass for a long ways. And Kel, I need you to make a perception check.
Just doing the bare minimum today.
Good lord.
It's a half day on a Friday. You're just kind of there.
I'm phoning it in, guys. You make it to the top, you stretch, your arms are burning from the climb. You look around, and that's when you notice a massive shadow just streaks over the top of you. A large T-shaped shadow zips across the green field ahead of you, and you hear a massive beat of wings in flight, and you hear a shriek that, like, just instinctually, something primitive in your mind makes you just drop to the ground and cower. You look as this massive three-headed beast with long reptilian bat wings flaps overhead and begins strafing low to the ground, and it snatches up a sheep, throwing it from its claws and catching it into one of its three gaping mouths, this one shaped like a dragon's head.
Oh, fuck.
Do
I mean, I know what that is, but do you want me to roll a nature check to see if my character knows what that is?
Definitely. You have perhaps even seen one before. You know immediately the chimera.
Nice.
You are taking a long time to sort of process this, like I said, that primitive instinctual primal fear of something that big on wing has just brought you low to the grass, hiding like a small marsupial. As you take in the scene, you notice that there's fencing here, man-made fencing around areas of this pasture, and that's when you notice that the chimera has now landed on the ground and is running down sheep. But before him, there's a small dog with a red scarf tied around his neck who's just staring down this giant chimera, barking at him, while the small lady with a staff starts plodding towards them both, bandages wrapped around her head.
Better call Leo.
Well, I'm gonna go investigate that and then try and yell down to the rest of the party that, hey, you should go over this way with me.
I'm totally gonna follow.
Everybody on the beach,
You're gonna tell us why?
as as Kel comes to the precipice of the cliff to tell you that you all might want to consider coming up here for just a minute. The reprieve, the soft sound of waves crashing on that wet beach, all of it is just disrupted, shattered instantly as this blood-curdling roar echoes throughout the entire cove you're on. And amidst that blood-curdling roar, you can hear like the soft sound of a little bleat, and then silence.
The fuck just happened behind me?
The chimera has ripped one of the sheep it captured in its jaws in half and is devouring it while the dog continues to bark.
Well, I'm going to try and do something stupid and help. I hope the party is going to come back and back me up.
I'm totally like full force running that direction now.
Okay.
Isn't that up like a giant cliff that we have to climb?
For the sake of like playing catch up, once Kel went up, did anybody want to go with them? And or once you guys heard the sounds of wings and screaming, is there anybody who doesn't want to go?
Leo wants to go.
I definitely want to go.
Zaz will go.
Yeah.
All right, then everybody who wants to go, give me an athletics check. If you make the athletics check, then you'll be there with Kel. If you fail your athletics check, then you're going to need to take another turn and figure out how to get up.
Oh, also I cast Mage Armor.
This should help. Bing!
You're talking about wants to go with him when he goes scouting, or wants to go with him after they hear the roar?
Either or.
Okay.
If you wanted to go with him, I didn't really give anybody a chance to join. I kind of let my narrative DM side take over.
I wanted to say that while people are mulling about the captain while he decides to go scout, that Reed was going to try to calm the survivors and try to convince them to stick with us, to follow us for the time being, as the mission that we're on was the priority beforehand.
Okay. Why don't you
Um,
make a persuasion check to ease their minds, or at the very least keep them from like getting in a rowboat and
lucky. I'm lucky. I can try again.
good thing. You give them the speech like, guys, I know it's a bad time. You've lost your captain, you've lost your purpose, we've lost many lives, we've lost all of our gear and equipment, and it would be so easy to get in that rowboat right there and don't actually get in the rowboat, and guys, get back over here. And then you talk them off the ledge. Everything's going to be okay. You're not rudderless. We're all in this together, and with, teamwork, we'll get off this island together. And you play on that sort of sense of established hierarchy and teamwork, and they seem to be unpacking their stuff from that rowboat.
And once the roar happens, I encourage them to stay sheltered near whatever ledge or cliffside or whatever's nearby as I
Shelter in
join the
place.
rest.
There's a man with a knife.
Shelter in place. There's a man with a knife, and I'm going to climb up as well.
Okay. Excellent. It looks like most everybody made their athletics rolls.
Should my skeletons make athletics rolls?
No, I think kind of like they're inured, right? Like you're just going to force them to climb eventually. So I'm gonna just motivate them with the power to control undeath itself. Forces them to be excellent climbers.
Excellent.
Let me just grab everybody to this then. Once you climb up the cliff face, you find yourselves in that lush grass open field that I explained before. Before you is a small woman clothed in tattered robes with a bandage wrapped around her eyes. She has both hands heavily leaning on a gnarled stick. She's got 2 sheep hiding behind her, cowering in fear from the chimera. But again, this impressive hero of a dog, for lack of a better term, with piercing blue eyes, stands between this woman and the chimera, like he's protecting the flock, and despite his diminutive size, by comparison, won't back down. Leo Ghost Puncher, the Chimera Killer.
Got to make it happen now.
Mm-hmm. So that we have a sense of what's happening when, let's do our favorite thing and roll for initiative.
I was going to suggest, just for story purposes, since I was down there trying to keep people calm and like assuring them to stay in place, can we just say I was last one up for initiative wise?
I think that's wise.
Yeah, just for the shits of it, for the heck of it.
Well, sir, you have to be better at initiative than I am, or worse. I don't think anyone is worse than me.
Should I still roll that in mind?
Yeah, go ahead and roll. And you can say that you're taking the delayed action to delay until, initiative 0, because you wanted to stay behind and try to calm the crew members.
Yes.
Is that everybody? I feel like we're missing a body.
I mean, I didn't roll, but that's because I'm not even in the combat session, am I not?
I mean,
see.
we're on the map. So
We are on the map, however. Okay, fair enough, whatever.
If you don't want to go up, there's no imperative that forces you to. You can read your book on the beach.
It's fair.
Person who's reading a book on the beach still has better initiative than me.
All right, Kig. Everyone hesitates for a moment, but your keen situational awareness and bravery in the face of almost certain death is stronger than most. You react first.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really want to get near that.
Why not?
Just trying to. It's not looking so fun. I'm gonna let our tank probably rush in at the end of this turn, I guess.
It'd be really funny if everyone just
Can I
like
just move away?
held their action until I rushed in.
It definitely has happened before.
I wanna just move away and just ready an attack for when someone gets into its melee range. When whether it's Leo or Zaz, one of our tanks gets in there, I'm just gonna wait.
And you'll make a
Step
ranged
into
attack?
the range. Yeah, with my bow.
Okay. That seems good.
Zaz is a tank?
Yeah.
Tanky
We don't
early
got a
hero?
lot of tank options here.
All right.
All I'm
Zaz.
saying is that Zaz is arguably tanked more than Leo has.
That is true.
Probably.
I don't know that history translates into ability, but I agree that he has done it more. All right. Zaz Kig sort of steps aside to the danger. He's drawing a line with his short bow, but he's waiting for something to happen. You've seen this maneuver before. He's giving you the chance to be the big hero again.
Oh boy.
You couldn't be happier about it.
The
Zaz is
storm.
not. We've lost a lot of people in the last 24 hours. Zaz is not going to let a dog die.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to rush and be the tank, and is going to call down lightning because you know what? That's what he does. I center it. I don't know, probably like on the dog, but it targets the chimera.
And I have to make a dexterity saving throw, which I do not.
Wonderful.
17 points of lightning damage. Yeah, just to be clear, guys. That lady's nice and all. Your storm bolt arcs from the cloud, hitting the ram's head square on. It sort of like Tesla coils back and forth between the jagged ram horns. It shakes its head twice and then rears up on its hind legs. The lion's head roaring and the dragon's head breathing a small little puff of flame as it just all 6 eyes, once it comes to rest again, staring menacingly at you. It has chosen you.
It was a good run, guys. Save the dog.
It drags its feet through the dirt, almost like, peeling out. It can't quite get purchased before it begins its just massively fast charge directly at Zaz, and it gets to make 3 attacks, one with each head. A bite with the dragon's head, a horn gore with the ram, and claws with the lion. Starting with the bite. 9 misses. That's good news.
Yeah, it is.
The ram horns, I think those hit you.
Yep.
They say you mess with the chimera, you get the horns.
I've heard that, yeah.
And then lastly, the claws of the savage lion. That's miss.
Miss.
Excellent. That's not so bad.
All right. That could be worse.
1 out of 3 ain't bad.
Pretty successful tank.
Nice.
All right. Alexis, you hold on 1 second. I got puppy aggro.
Indra wishes boss has missed him 2 out of 3 times.
But I mean, the dog's not turn list yet.
That's a good point.
When can I make my bow attack?
I'm assuming John just walked away, but I'm assuming like right now.
Okay.
Guys, I have a really good idea. Okay.
Sorry, he wouldn't stop barking.
I think Kid gets it now.
Oh right, yeah. He delayed
Yeah.
his short bow strike. Sorry.
Yeah, I haven't done anything yet.
I think it was also Basics brought up a good point that the dog nor the human are on the initiative tracker.
I can fix that.
Didn't know if that was a thing or not.
Are you telling me the dog has a higher initiative?
let's have basics bow first. And then you'll take your turn because you're already on deck, and I'll just squeeze in between.
Oh, I have no idea what I'm gonna do, so you might as well do the dog.
Do you? Oh, it doesn't matter. 26 hits.
That's the hit. Yeah.
And 16 points. Minus. Good shot. Hits him right in the chest where the lion's head meets the center mass of the body. It pierces deeply, and there's that sort of gratifying trickle of blood, but it's so singularly focused on devouring Zaz, it hasn't even looked at you yet. Alexis, it's your turn.
I look up from the book as I eat a cold macaroon. Sorry. I look up from the book, and I look around, and I see Jezza still lying next to me, but everybody else has disappeared. I just kind of ask her, "Hey, where'd everybody go?"
I kind of Jezza turns over and is like, "Oh God, we went places. I've been having a nap. I'm sick of water."
Wait a minute, you've been asleep? Yeah, I've been talking to you this entire time, you know.
Yeah, you would be
Secrets of the
surprised how
universe.
often I do this. I look at the cliff and I hear the sound of fighting, and I say, "They're probably up there."
I see.
Are we
Do you
gonna
want to
go
do
help?
something about it?
I suppose. Come on.
Well, I
Oh,
do this
stand.
thing where
Yeah, your turn.
I have absolutely no strength, but I pick Jez up by her shirt and I throw her at the cliff. See how far it goes up.
Oh boy. First, Jezza, do you consent to this?
No, but it's happening. So
I guess Alexis make a strength check, and
Damn, it's not gonna work.
yeah, Jezza, you don't have to roll. Your dex is higher than that. You easily parry, and you're like, "What? What were you trying to do?"
I was trying to get you halfway up the cliff.
Muttering under your breath to stick to spell casting.
as I take a step towards just as the edge of the sand, and with the back, like just as I push away, I just kick sand at her,
Nice.
and I start
I'm
climbing.
blinded. Okay. Is there a blind debuff?
Acrobatics or athletics to
For
scale
me?
the cliff. Yes, please.
All right.
And then we'll do
Acrobatics.
Alexis's turn. Easily. Bing, bang, boom. You sort of just leapfrog up like an animal in its natural habitat. Alexis, why don't you also make an athletics check if you want to try to follow?
Athletics? Am I not also allowed to do acrobatics? Okay.
You can. I assumed that they were both shit.
Nope. I actually have proficiency in this.
Nice. All of this watching Jezza has finally paid off. You are able to duplicate her exact maneuvers, backflip and all.
Poof! I'm
right.
here, friendos.
Alexis, as you climb over the top of the hill, the imperative of the moment strikes you. You have an action left. What do you want to use it for? You see Zaz is almost being devoured by a 3-headed chimera. His shield almost pried from his arms by the massive razor-sharp talons of the lion.
Well, that sucks. I'm gonna do an infestation on it.
Every time you say that, it just sounds gross.
I know, right? By the way, that's the information.
I do not make my Constitution save, so I take 9 points.
Pretend that I actually landed here, and then it works.
Do I move the spaces at the beginning of my turn, or right as right
I
now?
think it's right as soon as it goes.
Okay. Roll a 4.
Okay. Oh, there's a dice roller, don't we?
Mhm.
Well.
Or you can just slash
slash
roll.
roll.
Whichever you are comfortable. And that is south.
Didn't do a whole lot, but that's okay.
Now instead of the lion biting his face, it's the dragon.
I
Captain
don't know which is worse.
The old woman carries some of the sheeps back behind where Reed is standing, and she says something to you, well, at you, Reed. In passing, you notice that she's got this sort of tattered cloth wrapped around her head that completely covers her eyes, but she walks so close to you without like she doesn't ever touch you, but she walks deliberately close enough to almost like to force you to get out of the way. And as soon as you step to let her pass, she says, "In a minute, you're going to wish you were in that pond." And she says, "Come, Sky, come." And the dog withdraws to her position. Jezza, it's your turn.
Since I kind of also effectively moved on Alexis's turn, do I only have an action remaining?
I think that's fair if you're okay with that.
Yep, that's fair. I would like to, well, I want to try and get low in the grass because I'm also green, and I want to try and approach the Chimera stealthily.
Okay.
Would that, can I make a movement for my action, or?
Sure, absolutely. You can always like trade down in the action economy, so you
Yeah.
can give up your action for movement. And give me a
Okay.
stealth check if you want to try to stay
Yes.
low and hide in the tall grass.
Do I get advantage because I'm also green?
I'm okay with that.
Nice.
19 is pretty stealthy. You
Alright.
drop low and sort of belly crawl.
Would you say that's at half speed, or
I would, yeah.
that's my speed?
Where did you
5.
go?
I'm invisible. Because I'm Batman.
8.
Get a cardboard box, you'll be Solid Snake.
That's my turn.
What does this do?
All right. Kel, it's your action.
Oh, sorry. One last question, Try. Sorry to
Sure.
cut
No,
off.
please.
Chimera, 3 heads, snake
Mhm.
tail.
Yeah.
Okay, snake tail. Got it. Please continue.
By snake tail, you mean like it has a snake head on its tail?
No, just like a long serpentine scaly tail.
Okay.
Oh, really? There's no like actual snake head at the end of it.
Mm-mm. There are several types. Some even have a scorpion's tail.
Okay. Got it. Sorry. Please continue.
I am going to cast Toll the Dead and have my 3 skeletons rain arrows onto the Chimera.
Fire everything.
I need a wisdom saving throw from the Chimera.
Just out of curiosity, are all of did all of the people that die, were they all archers? Is that why they all have bows all of a sudden?
True.
Undead bows.
Undead bows made of their own flesh and blood. Their sinew is the line, and the bow.
There you go. Is their
The
bones.
bows are the bones.
1 hit. But a hell of a hit.
Damn.
They are empowered by me now, so they do more damage.
They are empowered by me.
They are empowered by me.
All right, Leo, you're up.
Okay. I have a question.
I have
How
no-
hard would it be to grapple its wing?
It.
Hey, Trey.
Hold on 1 second. It's large. Go ahead.
Sorry. Since one of them fumbled, should I roll on the crit fumbled table?
Actually, that brings us to an interesting question that we probably should have addressed at some point before now. Summoned people, constructs, are they player characters?
I would argue no, so I don't think they affect by that.
Okay.
It adds too much. It adds too much time to a fight that we already have too many people in. Well, I mean, we have
Anybody have a strong dissenting opinion?
Not
I tend
really.
to agree with Lev. I just want to make sure that nobody's like a strong advocate for. I
Yeah, I
want.
think they should be NPCs, or not really
Okay.
NPCs, but like pets.
I'm so sorry to say this, but I actually missed the question.
Just like in the case of Kel's multiple skeletons, do they get the player character treatment of if they roll on the critical hit or critical fumble table? Do we do that? I'm in favor of like what Lab said is just keeping it simple and just saying like they're just straight up hit yes or no, and that's it. Just to keep combat moving along. Same would be true like if I summon, 17 demons from my one, demonic
Uh,
warlock that I don't want to have to roll on the fumble or hit table 20 times. But
uh,
it's, like I said, it's up to you guys. I just think it's cleaner not to, but I don't want
Yeah.
anyone to feel like I'm taking away their agency
I'm
or.
gonna agree with you, but it's his skeleton, so your characters to play with and have fun with.
I'm happy to have it just streamlined for everyone else's sake.
With the only thing, if you summon the tiny badger, he can go on the. Just kidding.
Right. Tiny Badger can crit
Specifically
hit
the
crit
badger.
miss. All right, Leo.
Yeah.
You want to try to tackle and
I
grapple.
just grapple the wings, like climb on its back and grapple the wing.
Okay. It is so big. It's not huge, which makes it impossible. I'm going to give you disadvantage on your strength check though, because it
Okay.
is a large and imposing beast.
So I'm gonna rage first, and I'm gonna charge this thing and try to climb up its back and pin at least one wing.
Okay.
So I'm gonna move to here and rage, and then do it. And is it just a strength check?
Yep. And no like normal roll because rage will give you advantage.
Okay, so just strength.
Just straight up strength. Yep.
Nice. Nice.
You do like just kind of walk up to it and armbar one of its wings, bending, contorting it. You hear it almost break. That like popping sound of probably the ligament tearing a little bit. And you just keep applying that pressure. It's thrashing around wildly.
Nice.
Remember,
Y'all
if
got
we
this.
break
You can
it,
kill it. I'm
we
gonna keep it here so it can't fly away.
if we break its wing, its wing attacks will hit less. I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter. This is how this works.
Definitely.
Well, you guys definitely can kill this. I'm just gonna make sure it can't fly away and retreat. Oh, I also get an extra attack. Can I don't know how that works. Grappling. Can I like grapple
You
it
can make an
more?
attack normally. Yeah.
Okay.
Punch it. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna punch the shit out of it, but with a hammer.
That's not how
Ghost-
this works.
You're not going to
Ghost
punch
punch
with a
it.
ghost. Yeah.
I don't have a ghost to punch it with, sadly.
That's what you think.
But I will.
I know a guy who's
I'm
got
assuming since
skeletons.
I'm assuming since I'm grappling it, I can't use two hands. I'm just gonna use a one-handed attack.
Mhm. I think that seems
So
reasonable.
I will use my light hammer. Whoops, wrong one.
Give me a couple levels.
It's right
and
here.
I will.
I'm gonna
let
use
it
my
go.
light hammer.
How did you get a hammer made of light?
It's pretty great.
That's the hit. That matches.
Okay. Damage.
So try. I have a slight confession.
Okay.
I was so tired last session that I thought that the ghosts were immune to one of my magics. I didn't realize I missed it, and so when you had done the the RP of where it's just like your ice spell goes through the monster and then just goes onto the ground with nothing. I just thought it was immune to ice spells, and I just didn't think about like I missed.
Yeah.
So
Sorry,
that's why I didn't do any more ice or any spells at all because I honestly thought that it was immune. I don't know
Yeah.
what I was thinking, but I was
My
tired.
narrations can sometimes get me in trouble, but like I try to make it very obvious when an attack is active. Like I'll at least the first time I will really try to beat you over the head with it.
No, absolutely. But it was more me being tired and not really thinking it through that, I rolled a 7. I probably didn't hit.
All right. Initiative 0. It's Reed's turn.
I'm gonna move over here towards the water, and I am going to. I can move after I attack to finish a movement. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. I am going to fire radiant sunbolts at the chimera.
Hit.
Extra
Hit.
attack, and then also spend a key point to fire off 2 more.
Jesus.
Damn, dude.
2, 3, 4.
My lord, you just did like 20 damage.
And I'm going to just ever so casually jump into the water and say, "Hey guys, it might be a good idea to be here right now."
Nice. Reed goes plop, dipping into the pond. It sinks all the way up to his shoulders, surprisingly deep. I guess he's a halfling. It makes sense. Also on initiative 0, the chimera roars and tries really hard to flap its wings to shake off Leo. When he fails to do that, the dragon's head opens its maw, and you can feel a wave of just furnace-type heat issue forth from it, and it just unleashes a torrent, a gout of flame, burning all of you. I need Jezza, who is unfortunately in it, even though he can't see her, Leo, and Zaz to make a reflex saving throw. Or sorry, dexterity. I said reflex. That's not what I meant.
Not gonna lie, I'm feeling really attacked right now in more ways than one.
Where is the saving throws at?
Goodness.
It's
Oh,
right
here we go.
next.
Saving throws. I see it.
Oh,
Nice.
well, that was with advantage, so.
Don't I have like a lucky rock or something that helps me with saving throws? Stone of good
no,
luck.
do you?
Yeah. I forgot what it does though. Let me look it up.
It gives a +1 to all of your saving throws, probably, which
Okay.
explains why your intelligence roll is a 1 when you have an int of 10. So it's
Okay.
on your character sheet.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm taking some damage probably.
Yeah. So Zaz and
Uh-huh.
Leo both take 28 as the fire just lights up the ground, charring it completely to black earth, engulfing both of you in flames. Jezza, do you have evasion yet? I don't remember. Or are you just taking 20 or 14? I'm pretty sure 5e monks get evasion at some point.
Yeah, I don't think I have it. I see extra slow fall, deflect missiles. I don't. It would literally be called evasion.
I'm pretty sure.
I
Oh, it's
don't.
7th level. 7th level.
Nope,
Looks like.
you're right. I don't have it then.
Can
Okay.
you use Step of the Wind?
No. But
Just no.
monks at 7 get evasion. That if you succeed at a reflex saving throw, you take none instead of half. As you vault out of the way, but half is still good. So 14 for Jezza, 28 for the other two.
Hell.
Yeah, and Kig, it's your turn.
All right, I wanna. Can I try and like come in and decapitate the dragon's head?
You want to Kappa his dictator? All right.
So should I roll my sword, and depending on how much damage it does?
Probably get close to it then.
Yeah, of course. First, I'm gonna move into its attack range.
Too many monster hunters.
Too much.
I mean, he has been playing Raz. I know. I've been seeing him on my friends list.
18 hits.
And cool. That's a lot of damage.
It is a
Now,
lot.
that's a lot of damage.
Let me just take his head off. Just the lizard or the dragon.
You slash at its head, and it moves its like head ever so slightly. You cleave one of its very dominant red dragon horns clean off of its head, down its neck, and you get that gratifying arterial spray that covers just the left half of your face in almost perfect war paint. But the creature's head remains intact.
Oh, damn it. Okay. Well, I want to use my bonus action and disengage.
Oh, classic runaway.
And boom.
All right, Zaz.
Oh crap! This thing's on the same initiative as me, isn't it?
Kill it.
That's really
I
bad.
think you have a better dexterity, though.
You know what? Yeah, we're gonna keep calling down lightning and hope for the best.
Actually, you don't have a better dexterity.
No, my pretty much all of Zaz's spell traits are pretty bad.
Oof.
Oh, butts.
Does that mean he missed?
Oh, no, half damage, right?
Half damage. And then Zaz is going to quickly mutter a healing word and hope for the best. And he's healing himself. I don't 100% know. I think this will work. Yeah.
Huzzah! Right. You very quickly call upon some of the restorative powers that Talos has granted you to patch up some of those gaping slash wounds and burnt scales. On its turn, the Chimera, keenly sensing that it is significantly outnumbered and this is a fight it was prepared for, violently disengages, uses its action to turn and leap away. It barrels over this cliff and jumps into the air, attempting to take flight. It's using disengage, so no attack opportunity. Leo, as it jumps off the cliff, you have the option of trying to stay on its back, or just letting it go. But it's
I'm
jumping off
back.
either way.
I'm doing it.
Get
I'm
him.
going with him. What do I got to roll?
Strength check.
Oof.
You're not going
No,
with
I'm
him.
not.
It jumps off the cliff, and like you can see panic and fear in all three of its faces as it looks down and sees that it's still just grabbing onto its one wing. But it does a very powerful barrel roll, spinning laterally along that axis, and just the centrifugal force of that flings you off, scattering you against the rocks. You get dazed, knocked a few times around, and are able to look up battered and bruised to see it just barely survive that death dive and then just glides out over the ocean, just skimming across the surface of the sea, growling and cawing as it goes.
Question.
Answer.
I'd be next, right?
Yes.
How far away is it?
It can move 120 feet.
So, technically that means I'm still within 100 feet of it right now, correct?
If it moved 120 feet, you'd be 120
Because
feet
it
away
was
from
right here.
Right, and if it moved 120 feet, that puts you 120 feet away from it.
Okay, so if I were to move 30 feet here, I'm now within 100 feet of it, correct?
Weren't you 30 feet away from it to start?
Was I?
Let's rewind. I was here.
Okay, you were 30 feet.
Right.
Okay. So if it went this way,
Uh-huh.
all right.
I don't want to be Pythagoras, so I think probably yes, you can probably be within 100 feet.
Okay. Well, then I do this. Add it.
That's a lot of lightning damage.
I'm going to give it advantage because it will have fallen significantly below the level of the cliff.
Okay.
And I do not. You shock it with a massive bolt of pink lightning issuing forth from your outstretched palm. It arcs against the ground, arcs against the sand, causing glass to form. It hits the Chimera and literally explodes the back of it. You can see this charred, gnarled spine kind of explode outwards as it bifurcates. The lion and dragon's head separates and smoldering. The ram's head that still has its wings attached sputters and falls into the ocean also.
Perfect, it's dead.
And I did it.
Now sopping wet once again, Reed climbs out of the pond, and goes to heal his allies.
Okay, so real quick question. When you level up, does all of your spell slots come back, or are you sitting at what you had before?
The act of leveling up does not restore anything, but we did just have a long rest. So you
Okay.
have all of your spell slots, but not by virtue of the level up.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Mhm.
I knew I had enough to do it once, but I now have 2 more still, so we're good. I just want to make sure that I 100% was able to do that. There was no question that I could do that, but I wanted to make sure that I didn't just expend all of that spell slot tier, if that makes sense.
Dex, what are you rolling for?
Healing.
I see.
I'm trying to remember what it is. 1d6 plus 4. So 7 plus your hit dice, which you should be at what, 6 now? Yeah, so you get 13 health for Lightning Boy. Jezza.
Okay.
You get less than that.
No, I don't want to say he likes you less, but
And Leo. Jesus Christ. You get a good chunk.
actually, now's probably a fine time to take a quick break. We're about halfway through our session, so why doesn't everybody take 5, drink or buy or whatever you got to do?
Yep, that sounds good.
Sound all right?
And then, yeah, cool. You get 10 plus 6, you get 16 health back.
I linked it before the picture.
Oh. That one. Okay, I'm listening to it now.
Is everybody back?
Yes.
Yes.
I am here.
If you're not here, speak up.
I am here.
I got the little pup with me, so if you hear like some chattering in the next few minutes, that's just him. Yeah. Good boy. Meg is in the other room trying to assemble a wire rack, and this kid hates like boxes or anything shaped like a box. Even hampers are just a hard no for him. And we've discovered that wire shelving apparently is very much like a hamper or a box, and he is just hiding in here literally between my legs,
Oh,
petrified of the wire shelf.
that's adorable.
Yeah, you're a brave bud, huh? All right. Just sit here and be quiet, please. You're a good boy. All right. So with one chimera vaporized by lavender lightning, which could be your superhero name, the sheep return to the pasture, slowly meandering back out from behind this woman's robed figure, go back to eating as if nothing had happened. The dog still has its hackles up, and she's just standing there leaning on this gnarled club of a staff.
Kel wants to go check the dog and make sure the dog is okay and maybe give him some treats. Or her. I'm not going to assume the gender on the dog.
As you approach, the dog puts itself between you and the woman. Doesn't growl, but just shows you just barely its canine teeth.
I'm gonna squat low and have some tasty nibbly food things in my hand and outstretch it in a as non-threatening gesture as physically possible.
Just so that I can be satisfied. Like your tasty nibbly bits aren't like people, right?
No, definitely not people. Why would I ever feed people to someone?
How can we believe
What
you?
did I just miss?
Try wants to make sure that I'm not feeding a person to a dog.
Okay, to the dog. I got the feeding people part, but to a dog is what I was missing. Okay.
And I'm just saying, like, as we stand here next to reanimated crew members, like, don't worry, I have a really readily available supply of tasty treats.
Well, bones. I have a supply of bones.
All right. The dog doesn't even look at them, just resolutely staring directly at you. The old woman kneels down and just says, "Oh, go ahead, Sky. It's gonna be fine." And then the heckles immediately come down, the tail wags, and the dog approaches and just swallows whole all of the treats and looks at you like, "More?"
I give him a little bit more treats and attempt to pet him.
He lets you scratch him behind the ears. The dog has scars up and down its body. There are places where the hair has not grown back around like old battle wounds.
Oh, buddy. I am satisfied. I can die happy now.
The old woman, joins Sky standing next to you, and I suppose I owe you a thanks.
I suddenly realize that there is actually a person attached to this dog, and say, "Oh, yes. I I really wanted to make sure the dog was okay. I'm sorry."
She just nods her head. I understand that. What brings you to my island?
We have a shipwrecked here. Hey, Try, do we know that there's supposed to be an island here or
We don't
anything?
know that.
Or is this surprising?
Who's proficient in, I guess, let's say history? That's the closest to geography, I think.
I am proficient in history. I don't know how well it's gonna work.
I'm not proficient, but I will still roll high in history.
I'd rather it be proficient.
Nope.
Oh boy, guys.
Can I attempt anyways?
Sure.
Oh,
Are you guys serious?
Uh, yep.
I did my best. Okay.
Alexis says, to the best of my knowledge, I am not familiar with this island. Kel chimes in with an island is surrounded by water on sides.
Wait,
Oh my
wait. That's
God.
not. It's all sides, not two sides. Come on, Kel.
While accurate, also not helpful. Uh,
uh,
the captain, before he was struck, when you guys first started encountering, when Kig saw the outcroppings of the landmass, he was very surprised and taken aback by this. This was not an island he was expecting to see. It is probably safe to say that it's at the very least, uncharted.
we have crashed here, and we no
He
longer
just
have a boat.
begins
So we're
uproariously laughing in your face.
oh, no.
I'm sorry, it's been a long time since I've had guests. I know how you got here. That's how we all get here. No one comes here on purpose. Of course it was a shipwreck.
Fair enough. How did what kind of ship did you crash here on?
She points over the ledge of the boat to this, like, just ancient sun-bleached wreckage. It's a smaller ship, maybe about half the size of yours.
What do you live around here? Are there others around here? Help?
She agrees that she will be able to help you, probably.
What?
She seems very non-committal, but tells you that this is her island, that her and Sky have lived here for many years.
I can assume that means that there's no one else here but her?
He says
Or
no longer. She tells you that
oh my
she
god,
has often
John.
referred to this as exile.
What has happened to the other people that have come here? Not by choice.
She says most try to leave.
What happens to the ones that try to leave, and what happens to the ones that don't?
She says only 2 have ever decided to stay. Isn't that right, Sky?
I give Sky another treat.
She says everyone tries to leave. She shakes her head. None have been successful.
How long have you been here?
She asks you what year it is.
I give her the year that I know that it is to be.
She considers for a moment and then just says 17 years.
It's a long time. We have some more of our crew on the beach. Is it all right if we bring them up here as well?
Can they be safely moved?
All but one
Some
of them.
them.
Is there an easier way up here that doesn't require climbing a cliff face?
Scroll of flying.
I mean, that's probably fair. She tells you no, but that on the other side of this plateau, she has a beach in the crescent-shaped bay of this island, and there's a path along the sand that would easily involve no climbing that would take you to her small but accommodating house.
Okay. I asked for some directions from up here as well, and we'll try to relay those to the crew down below, shouting wise, and we will meet her there.
Okay. She tells you that your bony gentleman will have to stay outside.
Of course.
But she walks away from you, like petting sheep, talking to herself, talking to Sky as the Sky were a person, and just moves on with her life. She seems completely unfazed by the events of today. Do you
I
all
time
want to
up.
follow her? Is there anything we want to do in the short term?
As I'm following her, I'm gonna follow her. But as I'm following her, I'm just gonna kind of be like, so are the is that the kind of wildlife that kind of typically lives around here?
She says, if you decide to stay here, you'll find that nothing is typical on exile.
Hmm.
She says that earlier in this season, the Chimera showed up, not as a goddamned infestation of them. It's been all Sky and I can do to keep them off the flock.
Station.
Infestation.
Does she have a map of the island or like any like landmarks of note on the island?
She draws it in the dirt with her walking stick, and it makes like the shape of a crescent moon, top to bottom, sort of like a teeter-totter.
Are there any landmarks of note on the crescent moon of the island?
Not really. She says that there's a front and a back. She tends to want to stay on the leeward side, fewer here, nicer weather. She's got the grazing hills up top, a small um, citrus orchard that she tends, but otherwise, you've seen about all the island has to offer.
Okay.
She just mutters under her breath as she walks away that the greatest feature is that no one can find it.
Based off that description, can I roll to see if I remember this island's shape in that book that I read in the Arcanium?
Oh, let me consider that for a moment. Sure, I'll allow it.
Okay, what do I roll?
You'd be rolling wisdom.
Wisdom. All right. Well, here goes nothing. Oh, that's not terrible.
You do remember in the ow, god damn it, sorry. Uh, in the almanac that discussed this,
Yes.
there was also mention of 3 islands that were outposts of the Gararaug, and they were lost to time, but all 3 of them were shaped like crescent moons.
Interesting. That's good to know. I guess I just, with that information, I just kind of just, I'm muttering to myself. I'm like, I think I remember something like this before. Not necessarily withholding information, but everybody just hates to hear me talk. So my character apparently loves to hear herself talk all the time. So they don't really pay attention to me.
Fair enough. The sorry, I just seeing chat now. I apologize. I was tabbed out. I don't know what you personally read and would consider valuable from the corpse of a chimera, but as has been pointed out, it was exploded like 100 feet out to sea. If you want to go swimming for it, that's entirely up to you. They're not a venomous creature.
Okay, then I just don't know if there's ever anything valuable for certain creatures or not. So I'm just
I think the most valuable part of a chimera would be its heads as trophy.
okay. Then I will not bother. Reed will not bother.
Reed requires the head of a chimera. I'm just kidding.
Yes.
All right. As you follow her through the winding path down to her Lagoon Beach villa, does anybody else have any questions, thoughts, or actions they want to take?
Nope, I'm good.
I'm just gonna follow
I'm all
along.
good right now.
Eventually, the winding path takes you down off the mountainous cliff face and to a beautiful, pristine, calm-seed blue lagoon. The crescent-shaped bay she talked about here is where she spends most of her days and where her dwelling is. It's a crude sort of thatched hut design, but she tells you to bring your wounded inside. There are places for them to rest comfortably out of the sun. She knows that you've already tended to them, having at least one master of the healing arts amongst you.
Does her hut also come with attached party boat, as in picture?
Yeah, I tried to find a way to edit it out. It was just such that seemed to match the islands that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I know. I
Please
tried
continue.
I spent. It's one of those things where it's like it became an obsession to try to figure out where this was in life and try to find other pictures of it, and I really could not find this place IRL.
Lady, did you know that you have a boat floating right here?
Yes, that's her pleasure yacht.
So you could have just left.
Just take the turn order thing and just put it over the boat, and now you can't see it.
You're right. Here we go. There's
Bingo.
All
no,
I see is a white page.
there is no boat.
That's exactly what I did, Leo.
Oh, roll 20 crash for me.
Oh no! Hopefully you get your character sheet once you. She sets up like it looks like she's setting the table for dinner, like taking things out of cupboards. There's a long sort of bamboo table, but it's not place settings. She gets out a little ink pot and a quill and a thin like roll of parchment, sets it out on the table with 4 little stones to hold each of the corners, dips her quill in the ink, and then looks at all of you and says, all right, well, let's get this done.
What do you want to know?
She says, I haven't been around people for a while, so you'll have to excuse me, but this is usually how it works. We get to that point in the conversation where you need something from me, we come up with terms. You obviously need my help. You need to repair your ship. You need to feed your crew. Give me an inventory list.
Who's
Reed
been keeping? Reed?
provides a list of supplies that they've recovered.
She chuckles at you and points to the blindfold over her face. Do you expect me to read that?
Reed, you gotta read.
That was such a stupid pun.
Yep.
Reed.
Thank you.
Dramatically goes into recites the list of supplies that his party and the surviving crew have recovered and tries to make it sound a little interesting with a little flourish as he does.
Mm-hmm.
So,
As you do.
as halflings do, it would.
Yeah, you're right.
She's copying it down as you're saying it, just so she's got a list of inventoriable items, so she knows what you have, what you might need. Then she says, "I assume that your intention is to repair that ship so that you can return to your mission."
We must.
And then I just kind of chime up. I'm like, you can come along if you want.
It is not my mission.
You can make it your mission.
As you have made it yours.
Well, to be fair, I just kind of tagged along, to be honest.
We would be welcome of your company on the remainder of our journey, and if it's within our power, we would like to offer you safe passage back to civilization. Back to the kingdom of Pendilor.
She nods. "I know where you're from, and I choose to stay here on exile.
Understood.
But I respect that you do not. How damaged is your vessel?"
Its butt fell off.
I preface it. I'm not a ship guy, but I believe the technical terminology. Its butt fell off.
That would be the stern, I think.
He said stern.
She
Deck.
asks if you're going to be able to perform the required repairs with it in water, or if we're going to have to build a dry dock situation.
Probably build
I
a dry dock.
suspect a dry dock. What Foop said.
She contemplates things for a moment, and she starts talking seemingly to herself. No, that would never work. Oh, well, that might. Excellent. She opens the robes that she wears, these tattered brown robes that smell quite foul, and around her neck is this long linked golden chain that has around it a blue, like sky sapphire blue gem with gold plating around it that makes it look like the iris of a giant blue eye. She clutches it for a moment, and it glows bright blue, filling the hut with this sort of soft sky blue energy. Yes, now I've seen it. She starts writing things down. She's drawing the schematic for a dry dock, using a lot of these coconut trees on the island, and she just hands it to Phobarius and says, "With naught but your manville, I believe you should be able to construct this." And pushes her design to you.
I look it over and start nodding and stroking my beard. Say, yeah, I think I can do this.
Can I see that necklace?
She chuckles. "Surely, because I can't." Not
Reed.
allowing it to leave her possession, but pulls her robe, aside, sort of like Superman revealing his S logo style, so that you see it.
Reed stares with fascination and asks, like, what did that just do?
That's what it looks like.
Are you Doctor Strange?
The eye of seeing.
Well, that's cool.
She says it's a powerful artifact that I've used all of these long years to learn things I didn't know, to find things I couldn't find, and most importantly, to stay hidden from those who seek. She points at the bandages over her eyes. Well worth the trade.
So you are one that sees but does not see.
nods. Yep.
What do you want in return for helping us?
She just shakes her head left to right. No, not too clever though.
I mean, I figured we can help with the Chimera.
Excellent. High marks for brilliance then. She says that for the last weeks she has prayed to Valkyr and has not received an answer. Then last night a glorious storm has sent her just the answer she's been praying for.
Who's Valkyr?
She turns to an imaginary
I mean,
person and just says, "This guy, who is Valkyr?"
No, I mean like as a player to you.
Valkyr is a god of the seas. He's known as the captain of the four seas and the lord of storms.
Okay.
Whoa, whoa. Talos is the Lord of Storms. Thank you.
She says, as she hears this intermixed conversation about Talos, "Oh, no, not yet. We have our debate later."
Oh, I don't like her very much.
That is
I think
fantastic.
I like her a lot.
But she, handing the schematics to Leo, Leo approves it. She shows you the list she's come up with to feed and house and clothe the crew members, and tells you that she can furnish all of this, that she and Sky can help you take care of the crew, nurse them back to health, help with the boat repairs, and help you source all of the materials required to make this dry dock. That with her insight and your know-how and physical strength, surely we can have the ship built shortly. And in exchange for all of that service and value, she simply needs you to find where the chimeras have been roosting on her island, route them so that you don't have to worry about the sheep being taken in the night, and Bob's your uncle.
I asked the question as I did in chat. Once we finish the repairs, can you help us by foreseeing the proper path that will continue us along on our mission safely?
She says such a thing is possible.
Very well.
Give me just 1 second, guys. She grabs your arm, Reed, as you walk away, and there's a flash of blue light from beneath the bandana that wraps around her eyes, and she whispers that to you.
Son of a bitch. Awesome. Okay. Hesitantly, I place my hand over hers on my arm and say, "Thank you," and gently remove her hand from me.
Wait a second. I have one more question for her.
Okay.
I actually potentially two more questions. I'm curious if she has any idea of what is going or like anything that can help with Opie's current condition. Who is outside with the bony gentleman and the bony mouse.
Bony mouse. Yes. She tells you that his condition is unique, but not altogether unheard of. She says that she has seen his path, and it does not end well.
I was afraid of that. And what of the captain?
She, with a face that tells you she knows the entire story, just looks directly at you, like the blindfold dead sockets where her eyes might have been locked directly with yours, and says, "That probably has more to do with you than me."
Can you
Oof.
tell me any more?
She says, Would you rather hear what she has to say privately, or would you like it to be shared? She would whisper this to you, but
Privately for now.
Okay.
I think if it's what I think it's about, I'm not ready for the rest of the group to know about this yet. Kel is a private person. I say thank you.
she encourages you out loud to stop seeing the world in absolute. And then, with a triumphant finger in the air, she says, "Go now. You have chimeras to slay."
I go out with the rest of the party and bring my bony people with me. I've got a bone to pick with some chimera.
Nice.
Ghost Puncher's got to get his title of chimera killer, so he's ready to go kill some chimeras.
Mm-hmm. On the way out, she says, "Remember not to group up."
Oh, I don't like her very much.
I mean, I never have that problem.
Since chimeras have a fire breath weapon, does that mean they're resistant to fire damage as well?
Because the body is that of a lion, they are as susceptible to fire as any.
Great. Thank you.
Of course.
Would Reed know that?
Probably not, but Kel knows that, so
Okay.
I'm assuming that they would be happy
But
to share that information.
Kel is a very private person.
I will share that
Yeah.
particular thing.
I think about their past, not about how to kill the thing that's going to try to eat us.
I have a vested interest in not getting eaten, and that extends to you because if you get eaten, I might get eaten.
In an effort to distract himself from what our new friend whispered to Reed, he starts pondering aloud about chimeras and the fact that they breathe fire, and was just like, "Can I hurt them with my inner fire?"
I think it's probably going to have to be more outer fire. But yeah.
Well, because I learned burning hands,
Mhm.
and I think of channeling ki in that method.
If you have some inner fire, maybe you should take some Tums.
I think they're pretty susceptible to lightning, guys.
Key party.
I hear good things about lightning. Lightning won't go brrr.
Well, I've learned a new spell that I'd like to try out. And do you think that would be good? I've gleaned knowledge of a new spell.
I can't speak for Kel, but just resounding what they would know of the monster manual's contents. Yeah, burning hands is you'd have to get close, but you're a monk, you're going to be close anyway. The fire, there's no specific resistance to it, so it should be effective.
It's
I
a
mean, I wouldn't want to get that close to it, but go ahead, buddy.
15-foot cone of damage from point of origin. Bring my hands together and blow fire out of them.
And blow. Fire. Fire. Blow fire. Like Demolition Man. Let's get down there and blow this guy. Huxley, blow this guy away.
I
That's a
think
deep cut.
that Reed would actually say something like that. So yes.
All right. Leaving the beachside hut here. You guys are kind of at a loss, I suspect, as to where to start. What do you guys want to do? This lady seems to have taken all this in her stride. As have you.
I want to
few
climb
questions.
the tallest hill / mountain / peak and see what my eyes can see.
Tell me, what do your dwarf eyes see?
Fuck all.
Rocks.
The tallest place is basically back where you guys were at that grazing area. It's between 80 and 100 feet, depending where you are elevation wise, at the top of that plateau.
Okay.
That's the highest point in this island.
Maybe Leo and Reed go back to the crew unless they came with us and get them started on prepping for the repairs.
No, we gotta kill some chimeras first.
Two birds. Yeah.
Two birds, one cup.
Whatever.
We could,
If
Oh,
it's
no.
2 chimeras dead, one
No.
job started,
Let's
then
just
maybe.
stop. Abort. We could use your burning hands with this situation.
my thought was get them started on repairs while we hunted for the chimeras.
Yeah, I mean, Theo was the ship's bosun. He could probably organize a work crew. That's up to you guys.
I'm sure Theo has it if he has the plans from Leo. We can go off on our own and handle the chimera situation, I assume.
Sounds good to me.
Then,
And yeah,
yes.
they had basically followed you to the hut here.
Then before we leave, I encourage them to begin setting that up with Theo.
He takes the plans and agrees to it. He has like that awkward, trepidatious moment of trying to talk to the crew with any measure of authority, and like it's 50-50. Half the crew respects that he's like fifth in command, and the other half is kind of like, well, I mean, I guess in the sense that this will get us off the damned island, I'll do it.
Reed offers some encouraging words before walking away. You can do it. I believe in
Oh
you.
boy, that's a loaded gun. Yeah.
You know,
Make a perception roll for me, Reed.
perception roll. Sure. Why not? Nope.
I admit persuasion, but the
Not very
roll is still
perceptive.
very low.
Did you make persuasion? Because I can do persuasion too.
Yeah, you
Woo!
equally as adept. You you fail to find the right words again. In your heart you want to be a good leader. It's just not translating in this particular moment. You tell them that they need to band together, or they will all surely face a certain death, a long, slow, starvation-based death on this lonely, desolate island where they'll never see their families again. If they don't work together, it's all going to end
Cringing.
horribly. Until like
cringing.
everyone's like basically crying, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm off. Gotta
Reed
go.
will
All right,
refrain
cringing
from the word
super
families and
hard.
say
I
loved
think.
ones
Can I
instead.
step up behind him and try to help him out?
Sure.
Damn it. That's
Yeah.
bad. That's
Don't
really bad. By the way,
Just say yeah.
if you
don't
look
die,
at my
guys.
bonus there,
Yep. It's like Reed's telling them that they'll probably never get off this island, and their families will just wonder forever what happened to them. And then Alexis chimes in, well, that's only if the war doesn't reach a full climax and they're all killed while you're here. It's entirely possible your family's already dead.
oh my god,
Again,
I am the
technically true,
best.
also not helpful.
Oh goodness, I love us so much.
Very motivational. They like drudgingly, like literally dragging their knuckles through the sand, get back to work trying to build the dry dock situation.
Oh, one more thing before we walk away, if I can. I ask her, our seer friend. Did we get her name?
Ira.
Ira. I ask Ira if she has any supplies that might help me replenish my healing kit that she'd be willing to part with.
She laughs and places a hand on your chest. The power to heal resides inside of you. And then laughs and says, no, of course, there's arrowroot in the jar over there.
I was almost going to fall for that. Thanks. How much may I use?
She says you can take as much as you need if it's going to help you kill chimeras.
Great. Then I'll full restock. All right. I'm done with my shit.
Nice. Leo, from the top of the peak that you've climbed to, there is no higher ground. There's no obvious like roost.
Okay.
It may be worth considering if anybody knows anything about like the biology and habits of a chimera.
Would that be my bag of
Yeah,
tricks?
and I'm gonna need a higher roll than you've already done with. Yeah, I like that one. You know that the chimera, they're always a mixed bag, but almost assuredly, if it is a chimera that has a dragon's head, the dragon's personality, its traits tend to be dominant. So you suspect, since it was a red dragon's head, that it will have a traditional red dragon's lair somewhere nearby. You're looking for a large, deep, cavernous place.
Ooh, caves. I'm good at finding caves because I live in caves.
Can I just fall into it by accident?
I feel like that's half of the story.
So I'm assuming Kel has shared the knowledge that it would probably be a cave somewhere.
Yep.
I kind of look at the group and it's like, I have to go swimming again, don't I?
No. Probably not.
Because what if it was like an inlet on a
I-
cliff wall on the ocean side of the island?
I mean, there's probably still a beach. What is the lady's name?
Ira.
Ira, Irah.
Does Ira know of any cliff faces or like cliffs or sorry, caves that they could hole up in?
I would say there's a cliff right behind us.
If you go back to the hut and talk to her about it, she tells you that on the far side, the almost polar opposite, if she's in the interior of the exterior of the crescent has very few beach-facing accesses. It's mostly just cliff edifice that you guys kind of wrecked in on your way coming in here. High peaks, jagged rocky outcroppings. But she says there are several tidal caves at or below the waterline, depending on whether it's high or low tide.
Yep, you're gonna have to swim.
So, by chance, would stone cutting? I have stone cutting, which is like history checks on related to like stonework. Would caves and stuff like that be considered natural stonework?
Yeah.
Could I potentially perceive, like geographically where these things would be, based on like how caves naturally form?
If you watched the pattern of the water for a little while, I think you could probably make a roll, yeah, to give you
Okay.
to give us the best bet from your aerial position there.
Sweet. Then I'm gonna do that.
Completely not following the train of conversation or anything. I just randomly ask her, "Hey, have you seen any ancient ruins on this here island?"
So
Based off of
considered
that previous um thought I thought about the islands.
I
Uh,
look at Alexis and I just start waving my hand in front of my face, like, sir.
this is a Wendy's.
So I'm considered proficient in history when rolling for that stuff. So how does that work? How does proficiency work?
It just adds your proficiency bonus, which I believe is 3 at this level.
Okay.
That was a serious question, by the way.
I'm trying to handle 2 conversations, so that's
I
a
gotcha.
12. Yeah, Leo, you should be able to as accurately as anybody can guess, like predictively how nature will work. You've got a good idea of where to send our scout diver.
Nice.
It is you walk to the edge of the plateau, looking down. To your best guess, we'll have to maneuver the team around. Does anybody want to be up with Leo, or is everyone going to come down to ground to sea level?
Zaz will go. He's not afraid
Nice.
much.
I'm going wherever the cave is.
So who's up, who's down? I guess I just need to have a firm on. And the Ira tells you, Alexis, that no, but she believes this island was once much larger than it is presently.
Interesting. I'll guess I'll go with the cave group.
Yeah, I was gonna go.
Okay.
Cave sounds fun.
Then the top team, we'll call them tops and bottoms.
Of course.
Oh dear.
The tops help Leo scout the most likely areas for there to be like a tidal inlet. If you are going to be on the bottoms team, you'll need to make swim checks.
God.
So why don't you give me those now as you guys walk along the beach until there literally isn't a beach, and then you're kind of like wading in water until you get around the north side, the side of this crescent, and then you're just basically swimming. All the while, like from 100 feet up, you can hear Zaz and Leo sort of coaching you on, giving you a encouraging.
I'm basically just like explaining to the up gang like what to look for, and are usually signs of like underground caverns and stuff like that.
Can I get swim checks from everybody except Jezza, who does not need to make one?
How do
Swim
you
check.
do a swim check?
It's always
Sorry,
strength.
athletics.
Athletics. Yeah.
Do we want to fly instead?
You're swimming.
But do we need a swim?
Damn, 16 with a -2. Well done.
I do my best work.
When it doesn't matter yet. Nice. All right, looks like we got some pretty good swimmers. You guys maneuver around the first, we'll call it Leo's guess number 1. And there's obviously erosion here, but no obvious signs of a cave. Do you want to dive deep and see if like anywhere along the, like going down to the seafloor to see if there's like a sub-access? No, Mr. DM, I don't. Okay, we'll move on to the next section.
I guess everyone just kind of looks at me. I'm assuming that's my job.
Yes.
Oh yes.
All right. Now
Makes
I decide
sense.
to, following the cliff face there, I'm gonna dive down and kind of like pulling yourself down on like the, like if you've ever been to a pool that has like athletics lanes set up in it, it has those like bars.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just kind of like pulling myself down across the rock face with the ring.
Nice.
Do I find anything?
You go all the way down to the bottom, and you find nothing. There is some tidal erosion as was expected, but there's no deep cavity into the earth as Leo had predicted. You guys maneuver around the island a few more times. On the third guess, find this.
Reed immediately
I'll do
swims
it.
toward it.
It is a large, open-mouth cave. It is low tide presently. At high tide, this might be close to entirely submerged, at least in terms of the entrance to the cave.
Try. Why does it look like there's something in the water?
I couldn't tell in the image if that was just supposed to be like kelp or just reflection. I couldn't tell what it was. In my mind, I could see it as like a mutant catfish, but then I can also just easily dismiss it as like sort of a distortion of the bottom of the ocean floor there because it's shallow. I really wasn't sure when I found.
Charlie, it's a Leopleurodon.
That's fair.
But I'm glad that I wasn't the only one that saw like a giant sea monster.
Yeah, I definitely see a bunch of skulls.
I do not see that.
Yeah, I don't see that either.
Y'all don't see that? Okay.
No.
Well,
Yeah, I'll go.
that's
make
my
me
Rorschach
move
test
on.
for you.
Nice.
I'm not gonna go in first.
Reed will.
But first, a quick Rorschach test joke. Guy goes in to see a psychologist. Psychologist is going to diagnose him using the Rorschach test. Opens up his briefcase, shows him the first one. He says, "What do you see here?" Guy goes, "Oh, a pair of giant breasts." Psychologist looks at him, shakes his head. No, that's all wrong. Shows him, "What do you see here?" "Big old jiggly ass." Psychologist shakes his head. No, that's not right at all. What do you see this one? "Rock hard dick." No, what is wrong with? Oh my god, it shows in the last one. Wait, big old pair of titties again. Guy goes, well, you are obviously a sex addict. And he goes, me, you're the one with all the dirty pictures. All right. Reed's going in the cave first. Does the top team want to try to scale down or jump down?
Yes.
Reed's gonna try to do it stealthily, by the way.
Okay. Let's handle the tops team doing their shenanigans first, because I feel like a long belly flop splash might destroy any potential for stealth.
I'm going to ask Zaz if he wants to ride my shoulder down.
That sounds like a terrible idea, but I don't have a
And I love it.
So okay.
So I'm going to like kind of rappel down the cliffside, hopefully.
Okay. Zaz, are you carrying a ton of gear?
Oh yeah.
All right. Leo, you're gonna make he's small, but he's got a lot of stuff on, including armor. I'm gonna need you with disadvantage for your athletics.
Do a disadvantage. Okay, athletics.
Can I make an athletics check to just see if I can negate that? Of me like holding onto the rope and trying to help.
That sounds very reasonable.
Yeah.
Does that negate it at all?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. We'll treat it as that
Normal.
neutralizes his presence. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, excellent. Leo yet again proves that sometimes all you need is just an impressive physique. He scales down the sheer face of the cliff with Zaz as a Yoda backpack, all the way down safely to the bottom. And then you do the awkward, like, I am super exhausted and completely out of breath, but I'm going to hold it and look really tough. And as soon as nobody's looking, oh my god. But
Zaz gets off and lands on his dainty claws. Well, that was easy.
why are you out of breath?
And there was no loud splashing.
No loud splashing at all. So, Dax, you wanted to be the first one in, and you wanted to do it stealthily. Why don't you start by giving me a stealth check? That is very stealthily. We're going to try something that I don't know that we've done in this game yet. So everybody just bear with me. This might be jarring.
If there's a picture of a jar on the screen, I'm gonna drive down there. I'm gonna hit you.
It's a big map, so you may have to zoom out. That should have.
Oh yeah.
That's what map. Do you see?
Sweet.
We see. I'm assuming a cave entrance.
Everything's black.
Dynamic lighting, I guess.
Right. I've been having problems with copying character tokens and them losing their sight. So does anybody have just a black screen?
No, I can see a part of a
see
a
as
cave.
far as here.
Mm-hmm. So everybody's like, most of you have dark vision, some of you do not. So everyone's experience will be a little bit different, but as long as you don't see just like a completely black screen, we're fine. As long as you can see some of that gray area within the limits of your own character's sight.
Do you have enhanced dark vision to be able to do this?
Are you
Does
talking
that
about
matter? Yes, because I have enhanced dark vision, so I see 120, if that matters.
I can alter that.
Let me super double check that, but I'm pretty sure it is 120. Yeah, you have dark vision with a range of 120 feet.
Where'd you find that at?
It's a part of my class fantasy.
Oh, okay.
Part of my class fantasy.
I'm gonna pull out a torch.
For those of you that are Umans or don't have, I've given everybody the benefit of the doubt with 30 feet of sight, which would be like torchlight. Which is what Kel is doing now. So, in a dynamic lighting map, you won't see anything until you move your character to a place and release the token, so you can't peek by dragging it. So kind of like honor system, I guess. But it's like chess. Once you move a piece, it's gonna stay there. No running ahead of the group, turning a corner into a trap, and then going, oh, actually, I'm gonna move back here. And we'll see if you guys enjoy this. I've had really mixed experiences with dynamic lighting in group games like this, so I don't think we've done a map with it yet. I know we did in the one shots, and it didn't work super well.
We kinda did something similar in the sewers, but that was it.
Okay. Let me check in with everybody. It's 8:30. Do you want to explore a little bit of the cave? Do you want to take our end of session here? Do you want to potentially get into a combat and run a little bit late?
Kind of want to explore a little bit.
I'm personally okay with calling it here, but I don't want to go past time, I guess, tonight.
Yeah.
I'm okay calling it here because we're gonna stop in the middle and then forget. Where
Yeah,
we
I think
were.
it's probably
it's a
best
good
that we just
stopping
stop here.
point, yeah.
Sure. I know there are several of you future dwellers. I just don't want to put you into like midnight, past into tomorrow, basically. So if everybody's cool with that, we'll stop here and we'll pick up in 2 weeks as we explore the depths of the
But
cave.
Reed wants to look around the corner. By Reed, I mean me. I really want to. Thank you.
Leave them. What's there?
He's gone.
Oh. All right. Is there anybody who can't make 2?
I should be able to
That'll
go.
be the
Let me
14th.
see what's on the calendar.
Wait, hold on. 1 second.
should
I
be
will
good on the
be here.
14th.
We'll be here.
And it's great because I somehow planned my trips on the Fridays that we don't have D&D. So that's
Well,
great.
that's just good planning.
I apparently am amazing at it, and I didn't even realize it.
The 14th, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, good, because my mother's birthday is on the 7th.
That being said, though,